Hey everybody, welcome to week 4 of class. You are now 1 month into this semester. At least for me, it seems like this is moving very quickly. But what we're going to be looking at this week is we're going to finally be getting out of the colonial era and really getting into content that has a lot of bearing upon the overall development of what would become the United States of America, and that is, of course, the American Revolution. Last week we talked about some of the central causes for that war, including ideological causes such as the Enlightenment and the First Great Awakening. Talked briefly about the taxes and the ultimate negative feeling that the colonials had towards that. But this week we're going to focus in on the war itself, a conflict that really began before the Declaration of Independence in 1775 is when the first battles themselves erupted. You have the Battle of Lexington and Concord. You have the Battle of Bunker Hill. In fact, even before you've got the Declaration of Independence, which is issued in 1776. We'll be talking about that. But you even have a number of British troops, soldiers being stationed in Staten Island. And from there, you're going to have a number of other battles that transpire in 1776, including the Battle of Trenton, you've got the Battle of Boston, and there's a move towards New York. In 1777, you'll have the Battle of Saratoga, an incredibly significant conflict, ultimately because it helps to bring the French in as alliance for the United States. And indeed, without the aid of the French, really, the United States would not have been able to go toe-to-toe with the British because we didn't have anything of a navy, and the French did. And there's a number of other battles as well, which ultimately it comes to climax with the Battle of Yorktown in 1781, and in the end, the war will be officially ended in 1783. During this time, the United States, as we're going to just refer to it now, has no strong centralized government. We'll be talking about this week as well, but really they're governing the war, they're overseeing the war with the Continental Congress, which really has no clearly delineated powers. In fact, the very first government or constitution that the United States will live under will be called the Articles of Confederation. And those aren't even officially adopted until the very end of the war. And in fact, one of the things that will happen is food will be difficult to come by, and soldiers won't be paid simply because the structure of government is not very strong. And as you will see under the Articles, the framers of the Articles of Confederation, John Dickinson, among others, were fearful of centralized power, and so most of the authority that was wielded during this early period was wielded by the states. And as you're going to come to find out, that was somewhat problematic from time to time. So, at any rate, that's what we're going to be looking at. We're also going to be looking at a number of founding documents. We're going to be looking at Thomas Paine's Common Sense, published in 1776, January of 76. The Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and then finally we'll assess the Constitution, which to this date is the longest running constitution in human history. No other constitution has ever lasted as long as ours. Now, of course, there are amendments to that constitution, so it has been changed, but nonetheless, there you go. That's what we're going to be looking at this week. As always, please be sure to upload your primary answer to this week's discussion board by Thursday at 11:59 p.m., and then make sure to respond to my comments and suggestions, as well as to another student by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So that's what we got. If you have questions or concerns or comments or what have you, please contact me. Otherwise, as always, go in peace, be warm and filled. May the force be with you, live long and prosper, and may the odds forever be in your favor. Have a blessed week, guys.